Okay, YouTube, what's up, man? What's up, man? What's up, YouTube? What's up, dude? What's up, YouTube, dude? This is Ryan Bailey. So bad it's good with Ryan Bailey. We're doing a Vanderpump Rules recap of episode 4. And we're gonna start that right now. I'm just gonna hit record for the audio version of this podcast and we'll get going. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to an all-new episode of So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your Friday episode, and we are back doing a Vanderpump Rules recap. It has been a Vanderpump heavy week. We had Scheana Shay, or Scheana Marie, or Scheana, however you want to say it. And we also had a Vanderpump Rules episode 3 recap because I was sick last Friday. Now, I did not record. You didn't have a Thursday episode this week. You only had 4 stupid episodes plus a 2-hour Summer House recap over on the Patreon. So sorry about that, but I've been battling. So I busted my knee Friday night at the Watch What Crappin' show. So that sucks. And then my body's been fighting off like a fever all week. And it's so weird. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Could you guys tell me if I'm, by the way, if any doctors are listening, could you tell me if I'm dying? Could anybody diagnose me, please? My insurance isn't great. No, I've been fighting a fever all week, and like yesterday, like last night, it I don't know if that's the word, it flamed up again. It's like wild. So I took last night off. I mean, I still worked during the day. So you don't need to know. That's just boring. But how the heck are you? I missed you guys. I haven't got to talk to you in a couple days here on the main feed. We're going to talk a couple Bravo things before we get into the recap. But then Monday, I got so much stuff to talk to you guys. I still have not broken down my version of the Selena, Hailey Bieber, Kylie Jenner whole feud. And I think it's always fun when you get an old man's opinion on young people's things. Cool. This season of Vanderpump Rules, though, folks, if you don't like Vanderpump, I just feel like you got to come back. You got to come back in from the cold. I swear to God, the water's warm. It's fine. You're going to love this season. I am loving it. I'm so thankful that it's good. I mean, we're 4 episodes in, and I've really liked each episode. Like, there are things that I love about each episode. And you know what I've been kind of railing against lately is things not being real, as we watch these things called reality shows. And we know that there's a little, there's a little fakery that goes into each reality show. But I was kind of frustrated. But I want to assure you that I know that these things are real. Like, I love that. I'm like, it's like the Book of Mormon. I attest that the Book of Mormon is the word of God. No, there are these, I know it sounds wild, but these truly are these people's lives. And I think that is even more thrilling to me because I'm like, okay, good. We're fine. We're watching something real. That's all I want, is to watch something that I know is real, because then I'm even more horrified. And now I've kind of confused being horrified with entertainment. That's a whole nother episode right then and there. Let's get into some Bravo news, though. Oh yeah, real quick. Let's get the business out of the way so we can party. You made it to Friday, by the way. I'm just going to keep telling you that, you guys. You made it to Friday. Whew, we did it. I didn't, at the beginning of the week, I thought there was no way we were going to make it. I didn't want to tell you and worry you, but I was like, no way we're getting out of this week. And it looks like we might have gotten out of this week. Also, okay, well, we'll do that in a sec. Sorry, I'm just like, it's like that friend you bump into at a party and you haven't talked to in a bit. And you're like, oh my God, I got to tell you about this. I got to tell you about this. I got to tell you about the Murdommer. I got to tell you all this stuff. So if you like the insanity that you've heard so far, then you'll love the Patreon. Come on over to the Patreon we're doing full Summer House recaps. We're putting the video up and the audio. I had my good friend Kate Legayco come to recap this past week's episode. We had like an hour and 40-minute talk. It was awesome. I had so much fun because sometimes when you're doing solo recaps, it can get lonely. It can get lonely and you just have the voices in your head. So this was a blast, but if you want, all the Summer House recaps are over there for the season. So come join the party. We're doing a live Patreon, I believe, on March 15th, which is a Wednesday. So you can come and ask your questions and you can leave comments on the Patreon about what you want me to talk about. So head on over there. It's like $5 a month. And you have access to like 300 episodes over there. So that is that. Also, if you do like this podcast, like I say, for any podcast that you listen, please consider giving it a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Spotify makes you listen to a couple minutes of it before they let you leave a review. But anyways, that really helps, and I really appreciate it. And always, it makes me happy. Okay, it's all right to say that something makes you happy, right? It's okay to say that we like things, right? I think that's all the business. Okay, perfect. Oh, and YouTube, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. You'll find it. There's tons of videos if you want to see me with some of the Bravo celebrities. Oh my God, you guys, today I talked to a Bravo. I did 3 interviews before this, and I've been working all day, and it was, there's so many great people in the world, not just Bravo celebrities, but just great people. And I've always told you, I do not like talking to people in my real life. Like I'm scared of the phone. Like I'm okay with texting, but I put my notifications on silent. So sometimes I don't see text now until the end of the day, or like different points of the day when I'll check them, because I don't want alerts all the time when I'm trying to read the Daily Mail, damn it. Come on. Okay. Into some news. The Alec Murdaugh, Papa, he was found guilty on all counts today of his wife and his son, Papa. And good. I'm very, very not ecstatic, because how can you be ecstatic about anything involving a man that did this to his family? But this guy was a proven liar. And I'm glad. I get so nervous these days that you can get out of anything, that if you have enough money and you can work the system enough, that you can get out of anything. So I did not have high hopes. And people were like, oh, that's crazy. He was definitely guilty, but you never know. Like I was reading all of these things and it kind of got me worried. So I'm ecstatic that he was found guilty. Sentencing is this morning. So we'll find out how long he's going away for, but also he's going to have to face trial for a lot of the financial crimes he's committed as well. But the evidence was overwhelming. Now I know this is not a murder podcast or anything like that. And like people like Emily D. Baker and Talk of Shame, like they cover this with much more depth. And some of you guys, I mean, it's like, damn, I wish they would give out like citizen detective badges. Because listen, when somebody ends up murdering me, I'm going to need you guys to give this kind of passion to solving my case. Like, please, I want you guys to go hard on whoever does that and really try to nail down all of the facts. Some of you guys are going to have to comb through hundreds of hours of podcasts, so I apologize in advance, but I was ecstatic. What I wasn't ecstatic for, this is funny, Kate Chastain on her Instagram pointed this out. This is how I found this out. Everything leads back to Bravo. But guess who would you guess the person you would want the least to comment on what his thoughts on the trial was before the verdict? And if you guessed OJ Simpson, that's what you're about to hear, because OJ Simpson tweeted today, goes, people keep asking me my opinion of the Alec Murdaugh trial. So here you go, guys. You ready? Get ready for this.
Hey, Twitter world, is me, yours truly. Well, a whole lot of people asking me what I think about this Alex Murdaugh trial. I don't know why they think I'm an expert on it, but
first off, he goes, hey, Twitter world. Hey, Twitter world. And then he goes, I don't know why people keep asking me about it's because you murdered 2 people yourself, OJ. Like, let's not go. It's because you murdered 2 people. Sorry if you're big OJ fans and I'm upsetting you, but I love it. Like, I don't know why people keep asking me, because you got off for murder, OJ. Like, I love it. He's like, oh, it's crazy. Why do people keep talking to me about this? Okay, here we go.
I got to admit, when he took the stand, a guy who's an habitual liar, I did watch when the trial first started. I watched him take the stand, and I thought it was probably a mistake, because the guy is an admitted liar, and it's hard.
He's an admitted liar, not a football player, not a Heisman winning football player. Are you kidding?
I think he could be on the stand 5, 6, 7, 8 days without lying. Question is, what did he lie about? But lying and stealing money is a little different than murder.
See, I murdered, but like, I murdered 2 people, but lying and stealing, now that's really wrong.
And watching them testify what he was doing, he was just trying to relate to 1 or 2 of those jurors that he was a good old boy. He was one of them. And I'm not sure he didn't succeed in doing that. I am not qualified to really say if the guy did it or he didn't do it.
I think, you know what? Unpopular opinion. I think you are qualified, OJ. I think you are the one that I would want to know the most from. He's like, one murderer to one murderer. I know that's a murderer. Come on. Wait, sorry.
If a juror missed an hour of testimony, they no longer qualified. I've missed days that I haven't watched this. But from what I've seen, do I think it's more likely that he did it? Yes. But more likely equals reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
From what I know, I would have to say there's a lot of reasonable doubt there. He's going to go to jail for all the thievery he did, stealing millions of dollars of people. I think he should be looked at more.
I'm sorry. The reason I bring this up is because the Murdaugh trial, we have watched this with such a fervor, just like we watch our reality television. And I always thought in terms of pop culture, I've said this since the beginning of the show, it's such an interesting intersection where we're at in this world that we sometimes look at, not sometimes, a lot of these cases we look at like our favorite television show or our favorite reality series. I mean, how bizarre is that a man that I think has potentially started, crime as pop culture and murder as pop culture, O.J. Simpson, is now on Twitter decades later saying, giving commentary. Like, we could potentially hire O.J. Simpson for like the Law and Order, like, whoever is running these things, like Court TV or whatever station does this. I was watching it on the old YouTube. Like, OJ could be a commentator, like an NFL commentator of like, well, I'll tell you what, when I murdered two people. It's so bizarre to me that he's on here giving opinions, but at the same time, it's not bizarre to me because it fits perfectly with where we're at in terms of what we take in for entertainment. I know a lot of people won't say entertainment. They're like, oh, it's fascinating discourse. I watch it for this, I watch it for that. But there are such facts, starting with the OJ trial, which I was not a huge fan of, but in terms of I studied it. Like I read books on it. I watched that ESPN amazing docuseries, one of the best docuseries I've ever seen. The details in that, and then the details in the Murdaugh trial and all of the past Murdaugh crimes. I mean, if you watch the Netflix documentary, the HBO documentary, the Oxygen documentary, it is all out there for public consumption, just like these reality series are. I was talking about a photo that I put out about Tom Schwartz, a freeze frame I took of something in his apartment that I saw that I thought was interesting that they left a shot in. And I put that up on Instagram and everybody was going back and forth talking about what they think it is and stuff. And it's like exactly what I see the discourse on some of these trials are. So I just thought that was so bizarre, but I wanted to say the verdict came in. He is guilty on all counts. And I believe that he should have been. So I'm curious if anybody believed that he could have been not guilty, but I did see that out there. I did see the not guilty people out there, and it was never in the I don't believe he murdered them, but like the kind of I believe that he could walk free. And it was so scary to me, but I've kind of accepted that in a lot of ways in this day and age. Okay. Okay, so really, we're going to take a really hard pivot right now, and we're going to go into the cast of Winter House season 3. Is this season 3 or season 4? My God, it all just goes so fast. Season 3. Bravo by Gays, the Instagram account, posted this earlier, so take this with a grain of salt, but I usually think he gives great information. It says, here are some of the faces you'll see on Winter House season 3, which is going to start filming next week in Colorado. I did know they were filming next week already, so that I already know. No, Colorado is different because they usually film in Stowe, Vermont. So all of a sudden, it's a little different already. So it's not going to be the same house then, I would imagine. So here's who we got. We got Kyle and Amanda from Summer House. I'll say everybody and then I'll tell my opinions. We got Jason Cameron from Winter House. We have Tom and Tom, Schwartz and Sandoval. This is where it gets, we have Danielle from Summer House. Danielle is new, and that's great because she's single. I'm glad about that. But also, doesn't her ex, isn't he a chef in Aspen? So I think that's interesting. And then we got Brian from Family Karma, and I'm he's single again, I believe. Then this is when it gets, we've got Malia. We've got old don't do Valium on the boat, Malia from Below Deck Med. That's Malia. And we also have another Below Deck newbie that we have Riley. We have redheaded Riley. So that is potential. This might not be all of them. Now he says that, because I was like, where's Craig and Austin? Not like in a, where the fuck is Craig and Austin? Please. No, in a kind of, okay, good. Are they not there? And it doesn't look like Paige is there, but they said Southern Charm is filming right now. Now, listen, I'm curious. I'm happy to see other people in. I'm kind of happy to see potentially Craig and Austin sit this one out, even though it's always weird because I'm like, what is your plan with Winter House? What is it? So it's just a rotating cast all the time. Like, who are we right now? Kyle and Amanda are the only ones that have been there from the beginning. I mean, I guess Jason, because Jason does a lot of the cooking. I mean, I guess, who knows? I'm happy to see Danielle there. The Kyle and Amanda, I like Kyle and Amanda a lot. But it is interesting who Bravo seems to truly favor. And Bravo really, they seem to be very in the Kyle and Amanda business and very in the Schwartz and Sandoval business. So take that for whatever it's worth. But he also said he didn't know if Schwartz and Sandoval were going to be full-time or part-time. I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you something that I believe to be true is that they are full-time this season. So we'll see if that turns out to be true, but that is what I believe to be true. And it'll be interesting to see Below Deck in there. My disappointment, though, is go further. Also, I want to see more Vanderpump Rules women. Why not a Scheana? By the way, why not like have Schwartz sit this one out and put Katie in there? Can we just try to get Katie to have some fun? Like, and I don't like this. It seems to be like a hellish season for her in so many reasons, like for so many reasons that I think we see. But Schwartz has had fun even throughout the marriage, not sometimes with Katie, but like let Katie go sow her wild oats on TV, you know, get her away from this Vanderpump Rules cast. My friend, or Sandra, who works on the show, she was texting me and she was saying, listen, I think it might be weird. I think this, you know, could this be Katie's last season? Because, you know, they brought in Christina Kelly, I think, to be friends with, to have somebody for Katie to like lean on, because her natural friend group, I believe, is Stacy and I'm so sorry, Stacy, you know, Stacy Schroeder, no, Stassi, and she's gone, Doute's gone. And, you know, I don't have any opinion, good or bad, of Christina Kelly, except one time when I was an extra on Vanderpump Rules 5+ years ago. They make you pay for your drink. They give you a free meal. I think I've told you the guy, they give you a free meal, like just that you can choose from a couple dinner options, but you have to pay for your drinks. I don't think I knew that at the time. And I was with my friend Shorty, and we had finished dinner and we were lit. We were having a great time. And we walked out thinking we were done because they told us we were done. And Christina Kelly had to chase me down to get my credit card for the drinks. And I didn't understand what she, you know, I was like, what? And I gave it to her, but I was like, how embarrassing. I dined and dashed being an extra at Vanderpump Rules. So Christina Kelly, I apologize to you. I mean, she truly was working there. And I was like, oh, I just made this girl's job, but I just ran out on $60 worth of drinks. It probably was more than 60 now that I'm thinking about it. But I want more Vanderpump Rules women. Like Tom and Tom are so entertaining. I get it. But I want to be honest with you. I think the women of Vanderpump Rules are just as entertaining. And if you don't think so, I think you need to see them in a different environment. I think they need to give this shot. And Vanderpump Rules is doing great this season. In fact, Andy Cohen had Scheana and Raquel on last night on Watch What Happens Live. Really fun episode. But even he woke up this morning and said, I am loving Vanderpump Rules this season. It is firing on all cylinders. And I think that is so great to hear from Andy, one of the heads of this whole operation, saying, I'm glad that we held strong and did more seasons of this, because they could have turned away 2 seasons ago at the very end when Lisa was scolding Jax Taylor, when he's like, dear boy, this is not your show. It's my show. People are going to die. People are going to marry. People are going to live on. You know, that whole big speech. And Jax was like, I'm not even hearing you right now. And everybody kind of walked out of the bar going their separate ways. In some ways, I feel like that's like the TV show Lost, where they ended up dying on that plane crash, but it took us all those seasons to find out. In a lot of ways, I was like, that really should or could have been the end of Vanderpump Rules, because then the next season was the pandemic season, and it was a mess in a lot of ways. And everybody was like, oh man, the fun's just not there anymore. And now we're back. And I wouldn't necessarily, it's fun, it's traumatic. So it's either, if we can find that blend of fun and traumatic, I think that's where success lies in these reality shows. So that is the cast so far. I'll keep you updated on that. I hope there's some additions. I hope there's some surprises. I wonder what they're thinking in terms of bringing the Below Deck people on. But also, I've got to remind everybody, Below Deck is one of the highest rated shows on Bravo. Also, with Jason Cameron, with the inclusion of Jason Cameron, that's very interesting as well, because he's supposedly dating Giselle. You think they're going to make Giselle for a weekend at the Winter House? Could you want to see horror? Have Giselle Bryant come and drink with Kyle Cook. I would love it. I mean, honestly, I want Schwartz to throw up on Giselle and she'd be like, oh, child, no. Could you imagine that? And also, I just feel like this is like hit after hit on Katie, because guys, yeah, they're divorced. Okay. It's the first year of their divorce now. Like, I'm sorry, when you sign papers to divorce, it doesn't magically make you escape from all of the feelings of a 12-year relationship. It just doesn't. I don't know where you were getting that information from, but it still hurts like hell. Now imagine that being on television. Now imagine having to watch that week after week, and then us, me, a full clown, giving my opinions on your relationship, let alone all of us giving our opinions online. And then imagine having to see that again and again on Winter House. And the thing is, what we always say is Schwartz is so damn charming and funny and all of that stuff, even though he's a complete and utter mess. Now, I think there is a method to Tom's madness in the fact that I think he knows more of what he's doing than he lets on. But I also think he doesn't make up his mind about a lot of things in his life. And that's why his life, in a lot of ways, is what it is. And in the very last scene of this week's Vanderpump Rules, when he was like, I don't want to be a statistic, and he couldn't, because he was like, tears were kind of like, statistic, I don't want to be a statistic. And listen, you'd be like, oh my God, I think women, especially when they see a man cry, they think that's something special. But I would have you go back and watch all the times Tom Schwartz has cried. And to me, it's losing a little bit of its hook, a little bit of its power, because I sometimes feel like it's used to show what a good guy he is and how much heart he has. And it's hard. Like I keep saying this with this show, is that I genuinely do like something about each and every one of these people. Like I like Schwartz when I watch him interact with other people, with guys. He seems like he always has a smile for a stranger. Like he seems like he's always a nice person. I've seen how he's, sorry, I'm just getting a message. Oh, I think comments by celebs. Hold on one sec, you guys. Sorry about this. Okay, sorry. I guess comments by Bravo posted that screenshot that I'm going to be talking about that shot. And anywho, that doesn't matter. The point is, let's move on. I got two more stories. Also, it was pointed out that Scheana interview that she did, I thought it was so good. Whether you like Scheana or dislike Scheana, I thought that was a really good interview. I was really proud of how that came out. And like I tell people, like, even if you dislike her, I think you could learn a little bit about something, and maybe even her state of mind and why she does the things that she does. It's what I kind of say of like, I can see a lot, like I see Katie's perspective a lot, but then also I think there's 10 seasons of relationship built into what Scheana is doing, that it almost kind of like, we always think about motivation when, in acting school and stuff, like what's the character's motivation? People just don't do things randomly, even talking about the Murdaugh murders of like, is their motive? Like, what is the motive? Why do this? Why do that? And, you know, hearing from Scheana, you kind of understand a little bit. I mean, it doesn't excuse things at all, but you kind of understand it a little bit more. I got to tell you, I would die. I really want to talk to Katie, and I really want to talk to Katie. I just am very interested. I have so many questions and so many things, and I really feel for her, especially in all of this, just even coming from my background. And it sucks because I want to talk to everybody. Well, a couple. I don't want to talk to Jax, and I don't want to talk to Lisa Rinna. But other than that, I want to talk to everybody. And I really want to talk to Katie. And I hope, I don't know how much she pays attention to any of that stuff, but I could imagine her getting feelings hurt really easily. So I hope she'll still consider coming on, because I really would love to get her side of this. Not even, I think it's such a pain that you have to retell all of these open wounds to people, but it's kind of what we're doing here and what I want to do. And just to have, I don't know. I just kind of want to tell her just to stay strong, and she looks great. And I hope everything is working out for her in so many other ways. But I do want to point out one part of the interview that I was horrified by, because you put out these things at like past midnight, and you're like, okay, it's out into the podcast world, the small little corner of the internet, the podcast world. And hopefully I wake up to some people that enjoyed it. But sometimes you wake up to like really kind of potentially mean things, or things that they perceive me to be mean as, so they're striking back at me. So waking up in the morning is always a really interesting thing, because you're dealing with a bunch of text messages, a bunch of emails, a bunch of comments. And I've always said, for somebody that has been disorganized for his whole life, and somebody that realizes I have like attention ADD, I have all these things that you realize once you start doing this and it becomes somewhat successful that happen. And so I woke up to a bunch of comments saying, well, first off, I saw Stassi, Stacy Schroeder, as I call her, announce that she was pregnant again. I saw that before anything. I opened up the old gram before I looked at any comments, and I saw that posted everywhere. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, she's pregnant again. I didn't really have any feeling. I was like, oh, that's good. Good for her. I didn't have anything negative feeling or anything. And then I started opening a couple comments and checked my email, and it said, oh my God, Scheana totally revealed Stassi was pregnant on your podcast. And I was like, huh? And let me assure you, if you don't know already, that I don't like to drop tea. I'm not one of those people that's like, yeah, look at this scoop I got. Like, I'm not a big scooper. I kind of just point out what I see. I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. I'm not trying to do the wrong thing, nor would I ever want to. That's why revealing Scheana's baby's name, I've told that story so ad nauseum. It wasn't my intention. I just didn't think. I'm a stupid dude I sometimes I prove my maleness, if that makes sense. And so I got this, that like, hey, Scheana totally said that Stassi was pregnant with baby number 2 on your podcast. And I was like, what? Like, because I thought it was going to be like, great interview. And it was like, do you know that? And then I started seeing other people saying the same thing. And I got really freaked out. And because the scariest part of that, dude, was that I was like, oh, I don't even, how sad. Like, I pride myself on listening, and I must have just not been listening. Like, I remember the part where we were talking about babies and Stassi, and but I thought she meant, and this is because I do remember the comment, she was like, oh, we talked about baby number 2. I thought she meant a future baby, like another baby down the line, which I have not reached out to Scheana since, because then I got scared of like, oh no, please don't have this blowback on me. And then Sheena's like, see, you're involved in some kind of stupid baby thing again. You, like, me and the Vanderpump babies, we do not have good luck. I was like, I do not want to reveal any other baby information on anybody, whether I like the cast member or not, for the rest of my life. And you can go back and decide for yourself if she did that. I think she was referring to a future baby. And I also don't think, well, listen, I'm of two minds. I was about to say, I don't think Stassi would ever give Scheana that information at this point, that she was pregnant again. But I also got to say, I would never think Katie would be texting Scheana, willy-nilly about hooking up, making out with some dude from her junior high in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like at this point, these people would have known better than to tell Scheana, in a way, if that makes sense. I don't mean anything against Scheana on that. I just think if you don't like Scheana, don't give her information, because that might come, because I don't think Scheana was purposely saying, if she did mean the baby number 2, I don't think she was saying that as like, haha, I just effed you, Stassi. I mean, this isn't like, this isn't like Danny's podcast or Keep It. I mean, like this is a successful podcast, but we're not the number one podcast where this would just explode everywhere. So she announced it. I have not heard anything from Stassi's camp, thank God, because they said, oh yeah, it's weird. That podcast came out at like after midnight and they announced like in the morning around 10 a.m. And I was like, oh, please have it nothing to do. And I have not heard anything since. So I think we're safe. But regardless of that moment, I still thought the interview was great. Okay. And finally, I wanted to say this in regards to Potomac, Real Housewives of Potomac. Get this, you guys, Michael Darby. This Michael Darby, this little bald-headed freak. Am I allowed to say allegedly? Allegedly he's a bald-headed freak. You're allowed to say if somebody's bald-headed if they're actually bald-headed, right? Like that's not, but he's suing Candace Dillard Bassett on he's suing her because he says that Candace's comments that she made during last season about, this is the comment. She told Ashley, quote, your husband likes to leave you and go to a man named bleep house and suck his bleep. She never said who the guy is, but Candace later claimed Michael paid for sex. Michael's calling BS on all of it, adding he sent her a cease and desist earlier this year regarding her comments, but claims she has yet to retract any of her allegations. He wants $2 million in damages to make things right. This will be interesting. I think there's been a couple of lawsuits over the years. I believe Jesus's Jug's ex-husband sued Tamra, I believe, about something. And defamatory comments. I mean, you would think they would go, that's reality television, defamatory comments go along with the game. I would have a lot more sympathy for Michael if we didn't have Michael on camera groping a Bravo crew man. You can't argue that. That's what he was doing. The guy asked him not to. Seemed like he had a history of this. That is not me making anything up. That is video documented proof. And so much so that I was really frustrated with Bravo at the time because I didn't understand why Bravo kept Michael Darby on. Like he wasn't as featured, but I'm like, this dude hurt a crew member in a way. You can't be groping females or males on this. And he did. And I thought that was repugnant behavior. I don't think it's just men just jostling around. I've never jostled around with dude friends that have grabbed my dick. Like I haven't. Like I just haven't. And I thought that was just really, really shitty. So I don't know anything about this, and I don't know enough about the law to really understand if he has a case or not. But I think in these situations, it's hard because I would think it would dredge up a lot of his actual past. And this is a man that seemed like from the show, if you go by the show, that he had an infidelity problem. He was not able to stay faithful with Ashley, and that potentially ended their relationship. We have those pictures and when he supposedly took a nap in the room of that lady at the casino. Nor do I think I'm not. And also, I just come from it from a different angle because I don't think a guy being attracted to another guy that there's anything wrong with that. I don't even think there's like that. I don't even think that's like, ooh, wow, drop that hot take. It's not even a hot take. That's just people are able to get attracted to who they get attracted to. Like it does not matter to me. And it seems like Michael is one of those people that is potentially attracted to both sexes. Don't give a shit about any of that. What I give a shit about is him making people uncomfortable without their permission. We have autonomy over our bodies. That's even what Miss Britney Spears was arguing about a long time ago. But I believe we do have autonomy over our own bodies. And if you betray somebody's body autonomy, then of course there is a real issue there. Now, if dudes or girls want to hook up with Michael Darby, then that's their business. You do have to factor in, though, that he was married and his wife asked him not to. So then there is a moral broken in that relationship. But this, I'll be curious how far this goes. I'm curious what Candace thinks about this. I really am curious across the board. But I am not a fan of Michael Darby in the least. I think you would be hard pressed to find a Michael Darby fan in terms of us, the Bravo audience. I could be wrong. There could be like, Michael, woo! But it's just not, it's not going to be, it's not coming from this. And that's all I got to say about that. Just a little angry right at the top. Okay, we're already behind schedule. Let's get into this. Vanderpump Rules, season 10, episode 4, No Home Left to Wreck. The people coming up with the titles, amazing this season. No Home Left to Wreck. Damn, home wrecker. No, look, love it. This is the description the cable company gives us. James finds himself at the center of the rumor mill when he gets kicked out of a nightclub while fighting with Allie. Allie, of course, being his new girlfriend. Katie tries to keep her ex in line with another ultimatum. Don't like the word ultimatum. Tom and Tom host a friends and family event at Schwartz and Sandy's. Also, a huge thank you goes out to Juliana Carrazza as every episode. She kills it with these notes. In fact, every time she writes Schwartz and Sandy's, she does them in different fonts, and I always crack up. And then she does the, you know, that it's these are the best days of our lives. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight. She does that in a different font as well. And we started off previously on VPR. We're going to skip past that because I just talked to you 2 days ago about the last episode. Basically, Katie and Schwartz are not in a good place. That's what we're missing. Scheana's involved now because of Shenanigans, the podcast, and Raquel is potentially horny for Schwartz. And I don't, we'll get into the Raquel of it all. Okay, we pick up where we last left off last week at the turmoil at the Canyon Club in beautiful Agora Hills. And Ariana runs after Katie because Katie just had this like upsetting thing. And, you know, Ariana's like, I got to go out. Ariana, just being a damn good person, catches up with Katie and she's like, don't leave. And Katie's like, I hate it here. I don't belong here. That line killed me. I don't belong here. I'm telling you, I know my personal experience with relationships plays into how I view this whole thing. So I know I might not be thinking the way everybody else is, but I've been that thing of feeling like you don't belong. That was so strong in so many instances. I think some of us that have been broken up, even in long-term relationships, feel that, a feeling that this friend group is potentially not yours any longer, or you're not a part of it, or not knowing where your part of it was. Because if you think about it, Schwartz was really well liked by everybody because he's just that guy. And that's why I always said it was going to be unfair on their divorce potentially anyways, because a lot of people, you know, you go with what's easiest. And Katie sometimes on this show, I don't know about in real life, has potentially not been the easiest in terms of what we see that relationship with Schwartz, even though I feel like he kind of pushed that. So, you know, she had no other course of reaction but that. And obviously they're in a really toxic relationship that it's good that they got out of. Scheana's inside though, and you know, she said, do you know, I felt myself coming into this group and group events and all this stuff for like the last decade of my life. Like, I understand how she feels because I've been there. Raquel's like, same. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know if Raquel knows what's happening. Scheana's like, and she just made us all feel that way. And Raquel's like, yeah. And then we get a flashback to 2016 when Katie's like, she was mean to Scheana. Katie's like, you fucked up. And she's like, I apologize for untrue statements. And Katie's like, you're trying to make me look bad. And I promise you on my life. And Scheana's like, then why are you friends with me? And we go back to outside and Katie's like, Scheana's telling Tom everything I'm up to. And Ariana's like, wait, what is it? What is she? And Katie's like, why is it her place to tell Tom the dates I'm going on, the people I'm hooking up with? I'm not bringing it to his door. I'm not putting it in his face for a reason. Now, this is something that I'm sure Katie has learned from finally the hard way, this point that she will never probably share anything with Scheana ever again, because this is kind of her worst nightmare, because she probably kicks herself a little bit because she's like, I should have known. And there's no way for her, you know, she also, I will say this, when you're also in that kind of position, anybody that reaches out to you is a potential lifeline, is somebody to just take. It's such a scary place to be in. And you could say, well, she was the one that asked for a divorce. Because she kind of had to, but it's still a really scary place to be in. So you find yourself talking to people that you don't usually talk to. You find yourself commiserating just with anybody, just to feel a little bit of humanity, if that makes sense. And your worst nightmare is then for that, your little moment of weakness and confiding with somebody to then get shoved into your ex's face. you know, because you didn't want them to know. Even though, listen, what she's doing is fine, and what Schwartz is doing, he can hook up with anybody. The only thing Katie asked was like, just don't have it be in this friend group. And you say, well, she's not really that good at friends with Raquel. She doesn't really mean friend group either. She means Vanderpump Rules. Maybe don't have it be on camera the first year of the relationship. Now, Vanderpump Rules, you know, the producers were like, we gonna make something happen. Schwartz is going to be hooking up on camera, period. And I also want to go even further because there is a lot of questions about this girl, Jo, that he said on the last week's episode that he lived with, that was staying at his apartment. And there just seems to be a lot of question marks up in the air with that. And listen, I don't think, I'll talk about that in a second when we get to that scene. And Katie, in a talking head, it goes, I've been very careful not to dip into the friend group when it comes to hooking up or flirting. I mean, but also, who's Katie going to hook up with? DJ James Kennedy? Like, oh yeah, Katie, yeah. No, Katie's not going to hook up with DJ. I'm like, who would Katie hook up with in the friend group? I don't think Katie's going to go to Peter. Like, who is there in this friend group that Katie could hook up with? And she goes, especially not right in front of Tom's face. And the producer goes, and because why? And Katie goes, because I'm not an asshole. That's why. Ariana tells her that she loves her, hope they can figure out something. Now, it's still daylight at the Canyon Club, and Katie is now leaving. By the way, I'm sure Schwartz was very relieved when Katie left, and he probably started drinking even heavier. Katie goes, I told Tom if we, don't do double standards. You can be with Raquel and your new employee is pretty cute, like, because one of the employees is there as well. And Ariana's like, it's not going to happen. And Ariana was like, well, she was wrong there. Anyways, Katie leaves, and Katie in a talking head goes, for the last 12 years in Tom and my relationship, we've been a package deal in this group. But I'm worried that because of the divorce, that people are going to start drawing lines and choosing sides, and they're going to choose Schwartz. And that's what I was talking about. That's the sentiment. It's the dead on sentiment, is realizing there's a lot of insecure thoughts that go along with leaving a relationship. And also when Schwartz is so damn charming, and nobody, I mean, I would be hard, like, dude, Schwartz, I one time brought my mom into Tom Tom, and Schwartz was hammered. I mean, just hammered. But he was so nice to my mom. And like, that's what I'm saying. He's just that general nice guy that he's nice to anybody, probably nicer to strangers than somebody he's been married to, but he was still nice. And my mom will always, I like Schwartz, that's the kind of charming he is. Now we go back inside to the magic of the Canyon Club, and DJ James Kennedy is revving the crowd up. He's like, Canyon Club, what's going on? I want to see you getting on the dance floor right now. My name's DJ James Kennedy. We're about to turn this shit up. Who's ready to party? Canyon Club, make some noise. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, go. And he's just dropping beats. It's still daylight outside. It's still daylight outside. He's like, Canyon Club, you ready to turn this night up? And it's just full on daylight outside. People start dancing. Raquel and Allie are there. It is funny. There's this random guy in this scene. They blurred his face out, but he comes up to Raquel, Raquel looks confused in a lot of these scenes. And this guy goes, hey, is Rachel back there? Hey, by the way, this would have been my part. Hey, is Rachel back there? I don't know who the fuck Rachel is. Hey, is Rachel back there? And Raquel goes, yeah. I don't know what that meant, but all of a sudden Allie pops up, and Raquel's like, it's hot in here. Do you want to go out? And Allie's like, yeah. Now, these are the kind of things I use as an example of it is real, but they can't, producers suggest things of like, hey, Raquel, would you pull Allie for a talk, And it doesn't mean like, I'm sure Raquel's not chomping at the bit to talk to Allie, but that is something that the show kind of needs. So they go out. Fresh air. I do want to point out, if the time is correct, isn't it hysterical that Allie's like, yeah, I don't want to watch DJ James Kennedy's set. No, thanks. Yeah, let's go out with his ex-girlfriend instead of watching DJ James Kennedy drop beats. so they're out and Raquel's like, hey, it was so nice seeing James with Graham Cracker yesterday. And, he was very worried about Graham. And Allie's like, yeah, for sure. Yeah. And Raquel goes, one of the conversations I had with James was the fact that he slept with Lala during that time that James and I were together, which is so fucked. Did he tell you about that? And I was like, yeah, he told me about that. It really upset me. I mean, I literally didn't talk to him the night I heard about the Lala thing. I don't know how they could keep that secret for so long. Like, it makes me sick to my stomach. He's like, I learned from that. And I'm like, how did you learn from something that was a secret that you never shared? I gotta tell you, man, like, I got it. Allie doesn't come off like a dummy, like, yell at me all you want, but she doesn't. I mean, that's a genius. He goes, how did you learn from something that was a secret that you never shared? I learned it internally, Allie. I learned it internally. And Raquel goes, yeah. And Allie's like you were okay with living with that secret and you still stayed friends with Lala? And Raquel goes, do you feel like you trust him? And Allie goes, well, I thought I did because I hadn't heard anything really since we've been together. And then when he told me he was drinking again, like I started touring, I definitely was a little like worried. Allie in a talking head goes, I think Raquel is telling me this just kind of look out and to make sure I'm aware of the person I'm dating. But then it's like, how many talks are we going to have about your past with James? That's when it's like, I'm good. And that's so true too, is that I don't think Raquel was wrong, but I think there's only so many times Raquel can do this. We can't keep doing this, but Raquel is making so many, I think a normal person would go right and Raquel goes left choices this season. Now on Watch What Happens Live last night with Scheana, she did say something very interesting about watching back these episodes and goes, man, it's really interesting to watch that person. I was really searching for something. I was kind of lost. And I thought that was interesting because we do have to leave room as people to be able to grow, to make mistakes. She's only 28 years old. I'm not making excuses for her, but I do imagine that plays a part in this as well. And if you're in this relationship with somebody that is very domineering, that takes care of everything, that tells you where you go, what you wear, all of this stuff, that it's got to be really then hard to be back out on your own, to be an attractive person, to all of a sudden have all of these opportunities open up to you and to not know what the hell you're doing. And that way, sometimes, guy or girl, the only thing you can think to do is try to make out with somebody or run to the comfort of somebody else because it's hard for you to get through that by yourself. So Allie back in the scene goes, I'm in a place where I'm definitely upset and it's making me question a lot. And I would never really question that because he makes me feel so special. And like James' charm kicks in. He speaks, he says things. By the way, if that's charm, he just speaking and saying things, then I got some people for you to meet. And Raquel's like, oh my God. And Allie's like, stop speaking. Like they're swooning over to James Kennedy. And Raquel's like, well, not the James Kennedy charm. He really knows how to put that on. And Allie's like, I just have to trust my gut, even if one day I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, let's pull that line for later use, just in case. We'll pull that line. By the way, I have on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday's episode, we got Zachary Reality. He has a new podcast. You might know him from TikTok. Really, really nice guy, good guy. And he's one of Allie's really, really, really good friends. And he was there when they met the first night at the Canyon Club, and he was there this night as well. So he drops, I hate to say drops tea and stuff like that, but he reveals some really interesting information. So I believe that's going to be Tuesday. So look out for that, because that informs you a little bit more about this relationship that I think the show doesn't. So be excited for that. Be excited for that, you guys. Anyways, Raquel's basically like, okay, I have so many open eyes. Meanwhile, DJ James Kennedy is wrapping up his intense set at the Canyon Club. He's like, thank you guys so much. It's your boy, James Kennedy. Until next time, peace. In the dressing room, Sandoval's like, oh, we got to go on. Let's go on, because, tell him Sandoval and the Most Extras is about to take stage. And we got a 2 minutes, Sandoval and the talking heads like, my adrenaline is just spiking right now. We're down to the fucking wire. And I'm just like, just walk out there. Don't think about it. Just fucking do it. Just rock that crowd, Sandoval. We see Sandoval wrap himself in a red sequin jacket, takes one last look in the mirror. It always reminds me of Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights. He's like, yeah, you got a big old dick. Yeah. DJ James Kennedy yells into the crowd, get ready for Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras. Somebody tells Sandoval, it's go time, baby. The band is warming up. Sandoval grabs the mic. How you all doing tonight? The crowd cheers. It's crazy. And listen, I don't know the tune of this song, but the lyrics are, we don't want to sit and wait for love. Ariana is watching in the back, smiles, covers her mouth. She's like, oh my God, the new song. I believe this is the song Superstar that just got released. You can find it on all music outlets. We're the one that makes the call. Want to get riches. I want gold. We don't want to sit and wait for life. We don't want to sit and wait for life. I need to get the lyrics to that song and do a full lyric breakdown next week. Allie comes back to DJ James Kennedy, and Allie's like, hey. And he's like, hey, sit. And she goes, scoot over. And then he goes, hi, Bubba. Whoa, DJ James Kennedy just called Allie Bubba. You know who else was Bubba? Schwartz and Katie were Bubba. In fact, they had that huge painting that I talk about all the time. Bubba, 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 Bubba. And now DJ James Kennedy, who made fun of shit like this, he's like, hey, Bubba, Bubba, hey, Bubba. Shame on you, DJ James Kennedy. And Allie's like, I just talked to Raquel. And he goes, about what? What did she say? What did she say? And I was like, she just told me about the Lala thing. And I told her I already know because you told me. She was just like, be careful. Be careful? Yeah, well, pisses me off and I don't like it. Is she telling you not to be with me? No. Okay, good. that fear in her, that fear in DJ James Kennedy of like, what did she say? She say not to be with me? Oh, because that is his first thought. Like, she tell you not to be with me? Are you going to break up with me? And Allie's like, it's like, yeah, it sucks. It makes me think about it a lot. Honestly, it does. But you know that. Raquel does not understand that it's not okay to go up to my girlfriend and talk all this shit and try to warn, whatever the warning is. You know what? I'm going to go up to a new boyfriend and warn him, hey, great girl, very sweet, but she doesn't suck dick at all. So just know that. What a fucking weirdo. And Allie's like, why don't we just stop talking about exes? Fine. And Allie's like, I want to dance. Okay, fine. First off, TMI. Raquel responded to this on Watch What Happens Live. Andy said, listen, I'm really embarrassed to ask this question, but do you not suck D? And she's like, no, I just don't suck James Kennedy's D. I mean, that's all, like, didn't they say at the reunion last year that they didn't have sex for almost like 2 years, Raquel said, or something wild. And but also, like, that's how sharp this guy is. If he just hits twice as hard before he even knows the information. I'm going to go up to a new boyfriend and want him, great girl, very sweet, but she doesn't suck D. She doesn't take it in the pooper. Yeah. She won't let you put a dick in your ear. Yeah. She won't peg me. Come on. No, she does nothing. Not a good spooner at all. No. She farts in her sleep. Big farter. Yeah. Big. She stinkers in the bedroom. Yeah. Doesn't flush the toilet, that Raquel. Yeah. Wears a poop mustache. Losing the accent of that. But like, what a maniac. On stage, Sandoval rocking the crowd. He's already done a costume change. Now he's wearing this flashy white ensemble. And he goes, wait, Tom Schwartz, there's something we need to talk about. And he's like, he's right here. He goes, it's a little bit of an open room, but it's common knowledge. And then the band's like, nah, 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 nah. That's Jesse's Girl, Rick Springfield. Get into it, folks. Rick Springfield is a rock god. Listen to Rick Springfield's greatest hits. I had a Rick Springfield moment in like 2003. I don't know. I think it's my buddy Dusty. He was like, Rick Springfield, for a period of time, was one of the best 80s musical artists. Jesse's Girl is hands down one of the top 10 songs of all time. In fact, that scene also in Boogie Nights when Jesse's Girl, when Alfred Molina is like high on coke and he's just like, and the little Chinese boy is like putting off fireworks in the background. I believe this is this. No, sorry, that's no. Yeah. Is it Jesse's Girl? Anyways, Jesse's Girl's on the Boogie Nights soundtrack, but Rick Springfield, great. Sandoval covers Jesse's Girl in all of his shows. And he does this bit every time. But he switches Jesse's Girl to Schwartz's mom. He's like, Tom Schwartz, you've been a friend, and you've always been a best friend of mine. But lately something changed, and it's hard to define. Schwartz, you got yourself a mom, and I want to make her mine. And she's watching me with those eyes, and she's loving me with that body. I just know it. I want to hold it in my arms late at night. Do. You know, I wish that I had Schwartz's mom. I wish that Where can I find a woman like that? Sandoval grabs a large framed black and white headshot of Schwartz's mom and hugs it and just whacks off. No, he does not do that. Tom yells from the audience. He's like, no, it's a cute little bit. Tom in the talking head, the producer goes, where did Sandoval get this photo? And Tom's like, he stole it without me knowing. And he's been using it on tour ever since. And I guess it's like a dubious honor, because I know he has a great heart and means well, but there are like some sexual undertones. The Schwartz's mom photo is like in 1982. She does look really hot. It's a fun bit. I hope you guys get to see it live in your town. And then Sandoval is still singing, I want to fuck Schwartz's mom. So now Matt from the new restaurant purchases shots for Raquel and Scheana. And Raquel's like, thanks so much. And Matt's like, you're so welcome. They throw him down. Everybody's really excited. Raquel and the talking head's like, we see her in the talking head and she takes a swig from like I think it was like a Coors Light or something like that. And then she takes a swig from like a glass of like tequila and then another swig from the beer can, another swig from the tequila, and she gags from the alcohol. This is how I love that Vanderpump Rules talking heads go down. They're like, whatever you'd like to drink. Raquel's like, I could do another beer. And then she finishes the can of beer. And Raquel's like, woo! Somebody asked me, are they really drinking in it? Like they truly do drink during talking heads. This is very, very true. Not everybody, but they do allow you that option. And so I mean, it's like a horrible first date. Like, hey, maybe a drink could loosen you up, huh? And then it really gets you to that place. But I love that they use this stuff on camera. I think this is good. This is like good little moments that Vanderpump Rules is doing this season. So we're back at the club where the group is dancing, drinking, and Raquel's downing drinks, and Scheana's hugging Raquel, going, I love you. And Raquel's like, I'm just trying to like make out with somebody. Should I ask Schwartz if he wants to make out? And Brock's like, wait, what? Right now? And Raquel's like, tonight. And Brock's like, where is he? And Raquel's like, right here. And Raquel gets right in Schwartz's face and sits down, and Schwartz looks all like drunk, sweaty, and she's like, do you want to make out? And Schwartz smacks himself in the head. He knocks his hat off and falls forward in response. And he's like, I would love to. I can't. It's a trap. And Raquel's like, oh. And Tom's like, you're too good for me anyway. Raquel starts to move away. He's like, no, come back. Tom in a talking head goes, I'm very flattered. I'm very flattered because, Raquel's hot. And there's a part of me that wants to have this fun, lighthearted, tongue-locked embrace. Why not? I'm single. Are you, Tom? Are you? But this is worth dissecting for a couple of reasons. Now, Raquel, I know you're drunk, but it's like what I was saying. People drink to do the things that they want to do already. Now, Raquel has said a couple of times of like, I don't care if it's Scheana's idea, or if Scheana's like says you should do it. Raquel wants to do it, period. Raquel wants to do it. Raquel, my fear is now, is going to pop up on every episode at some point going, Schwartz, you want to make out? Schwartz, you want to make out? Because she knows that Schwartz is weak. And Schwartz does, like, listen, if there weren't cameras, Schwartz would be making out with this girl, even if he was dating another girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, Schwartz admittedly is a makeout slut. Those are his words, not mine. And he does find Raquel attractive. There's just so much that goes into this. So Raquel at this point is saying, listen, fuck Katie's feelings. That's what she's saying. Like, I empathize with Raquel and her journey a lot, but I think you could find another guy but Schwartz. And I don't think this is show related. I just think that, Schwartz, you see him so much because of the show and around him that she's like, yeah, why wouldn't I? But you are now making a very clear delineation of, screw Katie. And like she said on Watch What Happens Live tonight, well, Katie, we weren't really that good friends to begin with. Yeah. And you kind of just assured it that you never will be. And that's a decision you made. But then don't go on like Katie's girl trip next weekend. Don't do all of these things if you're then trying to get her dude, especially when she said, I'm not okay with that. And you see in a scene later that she's just really still emotionally out on this thing. And Raquel, even though she's going through her journey, it's still a little weird. I root for Raquel a lot, but in this moment, I just think it's weird to me. So Tom's like, oh, he's like looking at her, and then he's like, are we filming still? And he looks directly at the camera and he's like, oh shit. Cause like that was that moment where I think he was like, well, maybe like I'm drunk enough. Let's, I can blame it on the booze once again. Cause that's how he thinks too, because he still thinks with that kind of married relationship brand of like, how drunk do I have to be to blame it on the booze if I make out with her? Like there's that still that thought. I'm just assuming, I do not know, but I would assume that's what he's potentially thinking of. Well, I could blame it on the booze. Also, and there is a thing where you drink enough, you're going to do things that you definitely regret, but though there still is that choice. It's just that booze helps that choice along. Tom goes, you're fucking gorgeous. Katie, like, I think she feels like a real connection with you. And Raquel's like, I really like Katie as a person, but are we that close of friends? Like, not really. And Tom's like, okay, let's fuck. No, Tom goes, she'd be really upset. I can't do that to her. This is once again, it comes off on the surface. And I think a lot of us watch these shows two ways. One with like a healthy amount of not trust in their heart. And that's where I come from of like, I don't trust anything that I see and I don't trust people's motivations and stuff. But then I notice there's another group of people that watch and go, Schwartz, just such a good guy, because they believe every word that everybody says on TV. They don't look at anything underneath, in a sense. And I'm not saying that's wrong to watch it that way. I've just noticed that people do watch it that way. So this is like, what a good guy. But I do want to point out, he goes, she would be really upset. I can't do that to her. Tom's admittedly cheated a bunch of times in their marriage. Did he ever say in those times she would be really upset? I can't do that to her. How is Tom now a more faithful ex-husband than he was a faithful husband? Also, he knows it's going to be filmed and he doesn't want to do that this early in the season. He'll save that for Scheana's wedding. Sandoval finishes the set. Now it's a couple of those flyby scenes. We visit each house. It's another day. We're at James's apartment where he's making a berry smoothie after he got his D-est because Raquel doesn't do it. Then we're at Raquel's apartment. She's getting ready for work at SUR, applying makeup and fixing her hair. Can I tell you what was sorely missed this episode? Peter Madrigal. Hello, I'm Peter. What's going on there, Raquel? I want to see more Peter, please. For the love of God, give me just a little bit of Peter. I would be extremely grateful, Vanderpump Rules. Just even if you do some cutaway shots about like, Lisa's like, Peter, go wipe down the ashtrays. My God, what do I pay you for? The Ballad of Peter Madrigal today. Cleaning up a restaurant to the end of my days. I've got a big old ponytail, goes down my back. But I just want to date some servers and never come back. I want to own Peter's restaurant one day. It won't be called Sir No Way. It'll just be called Peter's Restaurant. Oh God, you guys, I'm insufferable. That was just so, okay. Anyways, we're at Schwartz apartment in Valley Village. And the first thing we see is a Polaroid photo of him and Katie stuck on his fridge with a magnet. The money is still there too. I can't tell if the money is multiplied, but listen, if anybody's going to break into Schwartz's apartment, know that he keeps his money potentially on the fridge. So go there first. I think that's where to get any kind of money. Now, this is big, you guys. Tom's unpacking his box. There's a garden gnome statue with a mushroom. And he's like, I like this little guy. Very cute, right? I also think this is mushroom related, potentially. Sandoval enters the apartment and Tom's like, what's up, man? He's like, how's it going? Chilling. Dude, that's pretty much how I'm going to be dressing tonight. And Sandoval pretty kind of just has a normal outfit, except he has white shoes on, like I think white like penny loafers, but he has a normal looking outfit for Tom where I was like, come on, Tom, you're better than this. There's a little style here, but it's not what we've come to. Like, I want bell bottoms. I want to see like the happy trail with the pubes. Like, Sandoval, you got to be pushing this every shot, man. Tom and Katie's dogs, Butters and Gordo, run over to say hi to Sandoval. They're like, we're hungry. And Tom's like, look who's here, guys. Sando's here. Papa Sando. What's going on? Sandoval's like, my brother just got in town. Yeah, I forgot. Dude, I forgot the whole gang's here. Sandoval and I talking heads like, we planned this party for friends and family at Schwartz and Sandy's month ago, thinking that we would be open. I know the smart thing to do would be to save the money, use that towards getting open, but my mom, my stepdad, they invested $250,000 into this business venture. I mean, it's me, so we're doing it. Okay. Wait, what? $250,000? Your parents put in $250,000? I'm so scared all of a sudden. I love Sandoval so much. I met his mom and I met his dad. They're really nice people. And I'm just, well, actually, he didn't say he said his mom and his stepdad. I don't know his stepdad, but really, I mean, just they invested. Listen, I will say that. I want to say this. I am going to give Schwartz probably a rough time the entire season, even though I say there's really elements I like about Schwartz. I do want Schwartz and Sandy's to succeed. I get scared. Like I'm actually doing dollar signs in my head. I really, really want, two things can be true at once. I can give Schwartz a hard time, but I want this place to succeed. I want Sandoval's mom to get her money back. Like, listen, this isn't a Jen Shaw situation, thank God, where she's like, Mom, I need money for my defense because I'm innocent. And then she's completely guilty. Scheana's like, knock, knock. And Tom's like, what's up? And Sandoval like, what's going on, Athena? And Scheana's like, I just wanted to stop by to see if you made any progress here. I love that Scheana's like, I just came down from Marina Del Rey for the fun of it. This is the interesting shot. Now, Juliana Carrazza did not pick this up, but I did. This is why it's great that she takes notes, because I was able to watch this episode 3 times. Now, they show a box of Schwartz's shoes, right? And I took a picture. I zoomed in on that picture. It was like Minority Report, where I was like, zzz, zzz, zzz. And it looked like mostly male shoes. One of those shoes looked like Sandoval's because there was like spike and glitter on it, but it still did not look like a female shoe because I was looking. But the other shot, you guys, was a shot of jewelry and what appears to be what a woman would shave her nether regions with, her leg. I mean, whatever, it's like a pink, like a Bic razor or something. There's also a Kroger toothbrush. I called Kroger. They do sell toothbrushes, so we know that's true. And then just a mess of jewelry. It believes this one necklace says cancer, I believe somebody picked up. There's a lot of spangly bracelets. You got a cross necklace, like I don't know, female's journey. There's a lot of like stones, a lot of, there looks like guys, this is where I don't know, a green stone, an amber stone. I don't know. It looks like a lot of female jewelry. Now I was like, you can be like, okay, he says that Joe girl's living with him, right? He told Scheana that last episode. You've always got to wonder, or also think about this. The show they make is an intentional show, not the cast, but the producers and all of that stuff. They're directing a show. They left this shot in. And you're like, Ryan, you're watching this too closely. Nobody gives a shit. Why would they leave this shot in? Why would they leave a shot in of all what appears to be female jewelry, female female Bic razor, toothbrush? They just do a casual shot of the counter with this on it. And that to me stood out. Now, Kristen Doute, I posted this on Instagram and she confirmed that it is Joe's and seemed to confirm. I don't know what she confirmed. Doute is a mysterious creature. You never know with Kristen Doute, but she has entered the chat. So I was like, I do believe every shot that they leave in is intentional. I do also have a couple of thoughts of if this Joe person potentially didn't want to film, because you have to agree to film, you have to sign a release. Then you can't talk to her about her experience living with Schwartz, right? Because she doesn't want to be on TV or she doesn't sign a release. So how would you then hint at those things? How would you hint at that? And this to me seems like a hint or a clue of like showing us like, remember, there's a female staying here, or who knows? Maybe this isn't even Joe's jewelry. Maybe there's a random girl that he hooked up with that left this pile of jewelry and a Bic razor. Because Schwartz is like, you better be clean shaven before you come into this bed. I don't think Schwartz showers, so I don't think he would actually do that. But listen, I barely shower myself. You guys know that. So that was my thought. Now, somebody also, Marissa pointed this out to me. This was from a Reddit thread she sent me, that there was a scene. So each week they do a never before seen episode or never before seen scenes from the episode from the last week. They do this with the Housewives too. So they'll add like 3 more minutes of material in the show that you saw. And they'll air that right before the new episode the week before. Now, I don't watch the never before seen ones, and I really should, because there was this scene that they showed from last week's episode. I'm going to play the audio. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Relationship. So yeah. Okay. So the visual of that is they have Scheana coming in. I don't know how much you could hear there, but Schwartz is like, yeah, Joe's staying with me. Like and Scheana's like, is she, what's going on? Is she, are you hooking up with her? It's like, no, just a friend. And then it says 45 minutes earlier, and we see Joe in a cat. By the way, they also show a headshot of Joe, which we actually did see. And she kind of looks like Freddie Mellencamp. And I hate to say that, but it looks like a cuter Freddie Mellencamp. And if Freddie Mellencamp was attractive, I'm joking. Calm down. This is a comedy show. Freddie Mellencamp, or Joe, has her baseball cap on. She has a dog, and she's like, what? Whose dog was that? Was Joe's dog living there too? That wasn't Gordo or Butter. Anyways, whoa, no, if that was their dog, I'm sure Katie's not thrilled by that. Anyway, so the camera gets her walking by Tom, and Tom's like, okay, see you later. You know, like really kind of awkward. They cut back to that, and then Schwartz says, I kind of have a crush on her, but like, you know, I can't do anything because 12-year relationship. First off, why the fuck are you guys not putting that in the actual show? Why is that in a never before? Like, why did you just drop that out of nowhere? And you're like, oh, Ryan, she'd have to sign a release. Not for that, not for just a quick run out the door kind of a thing. I'm curious how that made it onto the never before seen show. So I'm assuming this is all her jewelry. But also Schwartz saying that I kind of have a crush on her, dude, then, and he's like, but I was in a 12-year relationship and I just can't. Then why are you having her live with you? Why are you having her live with you, dude? Like that, there is something that does not add up here. It just doesn't. Like, and Schwartz, it's okay, man. Like, I mean, like, listen to me. Like, I'm like, I host a podcast, dude. It's okay. Tell us. I've made a real mess out of my life. Tell us about yours, please. I really do wonder what the F is going on. And this Joe, I don't know her. She could be the nicest person in the world. I think she's a hairdresser, and she's probably getting a lot of attention these last couple of weeks. She might have known that she would. I don't, you know, obviously she doesn't want to be on the show. So there is that as well. And it's just a really awkward position because you are on the tail end of a 12-year relationship. There's no way, you know, this could have been anybody and it wouldn't be good for them. This is not personal against Joe, but I wanted to share all that with you guys. If you want to see that quick picture, if you didn't notice it yourself, you can go to my Instagram, but it's just weird. So, okay, now back to this. Scheana's in there. And this is basically just, you know, like, we got to get you furniture, dude. Let's do this. And Scheana's like, yeah, you got to get this place cleaned up. Maybe a little artwork over the couch. And I'm like, Scheana, what do you want? Like, Scheana, why don't you loan one of your old wedding photos of you and Shay, which I would love to get my hands on. That is a holy grail. I should ask Scheana for one of those this week. And Sandoval like, dude, you need to get your mojo back. And Scheana's like, yeah. And Tom's like, yeah, I need to make a list of things I need for this place. So they're making a list. And Tom's like, I got to get my confidence back. I just feel like I carry myself differently post-divorce. I'm kind of slouchy. And he's like, the Schwartz was never fully gone. It was always in there, you know? It was just down to a little sad, flickering pilot light. And I want a roaring fire from within. this is like kind of that sad guy. I'm in a sad spot. Blah, da, 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 da. I didn't look at my own behavior. Blah blah blah. I hope. I hope Schwartz has a roaring fire in his nether regions. Actually, not in his private parts, because that would mean he potentially would have an STD. But I want everybody to feel confident and stuff like that. They're talking about getting a rug on his outdoor patio, and Schwartz is like, maybe not out there, because sometimes I pee out there. Could you imagine? Like, that means he's probably on like a second floor, like 3 a.m. You're walking down Schwartz's street and you just get whizzed on by Tom Schwartz. Sorry, buddy. It's my little Schwartz just came out. I just had to pee because Joe's taking a shit in the bathroom. Oh my God. And this like, I want him, like I always say, like I want him to be better, because then I feel like I could potentially be better. So things on the whiteboard that they're writing down that he needs: coffee table, TV console, record player table, matching towels, exit mirror, area rug, scissors, water cooler, 2 TVs, clothes, patio chairs and table, umbrella, says tan, workout, tonal, because I believe they got tonal machines. And also, did you see that they're advertising Hydroxycut on Schwartz and Sandoval, of like, come lose weight with Hydroxycut? Do you guys remember in like the early 2000s when they used to sell ephedrine like at like Rite Aid? Wild time. Then it says, you know, workout, do the tonal, 1 takeout a day. He can only order takeout 1 a day, 4 days a week workout, pickleball with Kyle. It says, it should say not Randall. And then it says Mother Nature, which I don't know if that means mushrooms or going hiking. And then it says storage unit. So Tom was also saying, like, we just had a verbal agreement, me and Katie, that we wouldn't hang out and date any of our friends. And Sandoval's like, that's not realistic. And Tom's like, we're not supposed to hang out, by the way. And she's like, wait, what? She didn't mean it. Like, I don't think, but she's like fired up. She's like, you're not hanging out with Scheana. And Sandoval's like, she fucking divorced you, dude. She left you, dude. And she's like, hey, if she wants me to pick a side, I'll pick a side. That's so, and she starts crying. And Tom's like, no, no, no. And she's like, that really upsets me. She called me a fucking troll. And I was like, you know what, Katie? That is one word you're not going to call me. You can say a lot of words. That's the word no. Say I was inappropriate. Say I was a bitch, disrespectful, whatever. Don't call me a fucking troll. I do like that she was like, call me a bitch, like, to call me, call me a bitch. I love being called a bitch. A troll, too far. Anyways, with upbeat music, we swing by Sir to see her manager, Peter. Just a quick shot of Peter, but we needed it. I was very happy when we got that. The music goes silent while we watch Peter open a window with a remote control. Nice and slow, just like Peter likes to do it in the bedroom. Yeah, you're having sex with Peter Madrigal. Raquel races from the alley to clock in because she's habitually late. Charli, our good friend Charli Burnett, is here. And they have a little scene like folding napkins or whatever you do as a waiter. And they're getting the silverware together. Charli's talking about her desert vacay where she spent $400 on dessert one night when she was super drunk. So she's in debt to her boyfriend, Corey. What kind of dessert you buying for $400? Like, how much dessert you buying? And when that stuff rolls in, like, how high you gotta be for $400? Like, that is what, guys, remember, like, back in the, I remember, like, you remember when I first moved to LA, I'm not a good weed smoker. Like, I would smoke, but I would smoke maybe like once a month. And I remember I would get it from my friend, like, and I'm gonna like get it. Like, I'm talking like she would roll like 2 joints and I'd be like, this is gold, because I would only take a couple hits and it would get me so flipping like out of control. Not out of control. I mean, like out of control where I would just watch TV by myself. And I remember like I would get really like I would take a couple of hits and I would watch TV. And then my big splurge I used to live, when I first moved to LA, I lived at Sepulveda and Ventura Boulevard, and there was an El Pollo Loco right by the Whole Foods right there. And I would go over there and I would get 3 bean BRCs, but I would do black bean and cheese burritos. And then you guys, if you listen to the show a long time, I was a fanatic about the only bar I really like is the salsa bar at El Pollo Loco. And I would just get, and they would just these little cups, and that's the most humiliating thing, is bringing those little cups to El Pollo, the little cups that they have, and like just putting the lid on it. It's such an ordeal if you really are a connoisseur of salsa like I am, because they have 4 different types of salsa. Anywho, I would just do that. And then I would just eat these 3 bean and rice cheese burritos while I was high. And I mean, I was 22, time of my life, you guys. I wish I could go back to that point. Anyways, but $400, that's ridiculous. I spent like $10 maybe. So they're talking. Raquel's like, oh, at the end of the night at the Canyon Club, James got into a fight with Allie and they were arguing loud enough for security to come over, escorting James out of the club. We get a flashback to the Canyon Club that night, and it looks like it's shot by an iPhone. In fact, we do know it is. In fact, that guest I told you that's coming on Tuesday, Zachary Reality, told me they were already done filming for the night. So this was captured by somebody else on an iPhone. And we do see a little scene at the bar where James is like, what, Allie? Why are you rolling your eyes? And we see Zachary Reality right next to them. And Allie's like, she was like, he would tell me he only has eyes for me and I'm the love of his life and all of these things, talking about Raquel. And James goes, oh, really? I'm going to tell her to shut the fuck up. That's what he said. God, he said, I'm going to tell her you don't suck my dick. Raquel's like, and then Raquel's back to Charli. He goes, he was ready to go. And he was telling Allie, okay, it's time to go. Maybe she wasn't ready to leave yet. I'm sure it has something to do with the conversation I had with Allie. And Charli's like, well, what was the conversation you had with Allie? Well, I was asking if James told her that he had sex with Lala because now the cat's out of the bag. And Charli's like, wait. Why would Allie need to know that information? I don't think that's your place to tell her that. You're putting her in a position that you know what it felt like, too. And Raquel's like, no. It's not my fault. Any argument, it's not my fault. This was a little weird. And Charli then goes, I know you can give someone so many warnings, but at the end of the day, people have to do what they need to do and figure it out themselves. And Raquel goes, yeah, I know. Charli's like, so what's the vibe now? Are you talking to anybody? She's like, no. Have you made out with anybody? No. Well, you made out with Peter. And Charli's like, well, that's where you give back James the heat. That's how you get back. And Raquel goes, okay, so what are your thoughts on me making out with Schwartz? Raquel is sober here, you guys. Charli rolls her eyes around, and I can only imagine Charli's thought process of like, girl, what you doing, girl? What are you doing, girl? Charli goes, probably weird because Katie has known you beforehand. Why? Did you guys make out? No. Do you want to? Yeah. You think Schwartz is cute? Yeah. Raquel and I talking, and I goes, I think I have a crush on Schwartz. I like that he's always happy to see me. He always has such a big smile on his face, which makes me happy. Listen, that's a dark sentence right there for so many reasons. If we're to go by dialogue, which we always try to do, I like that he's always happy to see me. He always has a big smile on his face, and that makes me happy. So like, that's all it takes. Because that just says also DJ James Kennedy sometimes didn't have a smile. And Schwartz is like, yeah, but Schwartz has a smile for everyone. I'm not saying that Schwartz isn't attracted to Raquel, but I'm saying that this is the thing. And, I think this is wild. Sometimes those little things that we fall in love or deep like with somebody about. And Charli goes, how would you feel if I made out with James now? And Raquel goes, I'd be like, that's weird, but like, you do you. And Raquel and I talking, and I goes, I've never viewed him this way before, even when he was with Katie. But then Scheana put this idea in my noggin, and it's kind of like stuck in the back of my mind, and it grew on me a little bit. And Charli's like, they're going to call you a home wrecker. How am I a home wrecker? There's no home to wreck. Yeah. And Charli goes, ha, Charli's like, you're crazy. We move over to Schwartz and Sandy's. They, Brett, the manager, and Greg. If we're to be mad at one person this season, let it all just be Greg. Greg is the main villain of this entire season. This bonehead. He's like, hey, what's going on with the staff? When are we opening? What's going on? Here's my thought. My staff is educated enough that you don't drink on the job, and there's just an atmosphere that night that it was literally a party for everybody. That's why I really chose not to have some of them come back. I personally think there's a lot of work to do. We just got to make sure that we're very focused on how this place is going to open. I'm concerned about that. And Tom's like, we want to try to push for the 26th of August. And Greg's like, for what, opening? And Tom's like, yeah. And Sandoval's like, yeah. And Greg's like, why did you pick the 26th? And Sandoval's like, just because if like a month from today. And Greg's like, is there a way like I can get my heads up sooner than as soon as it passes through your head, like start to text me? I always feel like in the last, Sandoval and I talking heads like, Schwartz and I don't always see eye to eye with Greg, but it seems like these past few months, every decision we try to make to get these doors open, Greg vetoes. 25 grand a month is quite the fire lit under your ass. Greg doesn't have that fire because Greg's not paying the rent. We are. So those guys are paying 25 grand. So Greg It's his space that they're leasing it from. This is if this is true, that is wild. Greg should shove it up his ass if he is not the person doing this money thing. Like, Greg, I need more of what your thought process is here. If they're paying, Greg, put some skin in the game. If that is your building, then don't charge them 25 grand a month. Greg's like, it's like we have two different agendas, guys. The reality is we're not finished. And in the coming days, we got a lot of work to do. You know, it's like an insurmountable amount. And if we're supposed to open, then we need to really start honing down on what needs to get done. We got a long lease here. We got a lot of money to pay back. If you're the fucking, your lease, I just need to see you do whatever it takes to make that work. I got a business to operate and just don't have time for this bullshit. Greg, can I see that beautiful smile just once, Greg? We cut to Lisa having a scene with James. James. They're having tea. And pretty much we get a flashback to Raquel telling Lisa 2 days earlier about James getting escorted out by security that night because he was fighting with Allie, which is kind of payback for Lisa. Well, no, that's not payback. We need to get payback for Lisa because Lisa's the one that told James about the puncture wound in Graham Cracker. Oh, I know too much about these shows. So Lisa's like, so you know what I'm talking about hearing a few things about you the last couple of days. And James is like, oh, yeah, I know. It's definitely been interesting bringing the alcohol back into my life. I love when alcoholics are like, it's been a fun ride. Lisa's like, why did you make that decision? You were doing so well. And James is like, when Raquel and I broke up, I don't know. Had to figure it out for myself. James and the talking head's like, I just wanted to get out there again, right? Which I hadn't been on a date or anything yet. I was excited to get out for like an Italian dinner on the veranda with a Cabernet and a sexy fucking brunette. You know what I mean? And I really did that. I just feel like I'm older, a more mature guy. And I love that he's like, I'm an older, maturer alcoholic now. Like, and I love his fantasies about alcohol is always like, you know, I'm in Capri, not, you know, Dorit's room at Buca di Beppo, but yeah, you know, I'm having this lovely Cabernet when it's usually he's just having a Red Bull vodka at some DJ event. Like, he romanticizes this thing. And I understand that kind of thing of like, well, I can't picture myself out if I don't have something to drink, but come on. Lisa's like, I know you were devastated over Raquel. What's going on now, James, with Allie? And he's like, what? I'm in love with Allie, but you were telling me when you were with Raquel that she was the best thing that ever happened to you. And now I'm with Allie. And now you're saying the same thing again. I've always been an emotional guy, Lisa. I've always definitely fallen in love quickly. I know that more than anybody. You were heartbroken and you were devastated. We get a flashback to the breakup. Once again, another episode. And James is like, just thinking about it makes me want to faint. And he struggles not to cry now. I like James is like, I'm feeling peakish. He's like, fuck, you know? And she's like, it's okay. It's a lot. Do you think you're ready for another relationship? And James is like, yes, you do. Lisa and a talking head goes, I know James wants everybody to know how badly he was hurt by Raquel dumping him. He wants to be the dumper, not the dumpy. Ken likes to put it in my dumper. James wiping his eyes with a napkin. And he's like, I love my life. Say it as many times as it makes you believe it, James. Isn't it funny? We've seen James cry a bunch too, and Schwartz cry a bunch too, and Sandoval cry a bunch too. And you say women are emotional. Lisa goes, yeah, you might love your life, but can you manage it? We go over to Ariana's doing her hair, preparing for the friends and family event. Schwartz and Sandy is opening, folks. Schwartz is like, we have enough beef, buns, toasted rabs. We're good, dude. Should we take a deep breath together? They're changing in the bathroom. And Tom's like, my pants are undone and your shirt's undone. And then they passionately kiss. No, Sandoval's like, yep. It's funny. Like they are cute together. That's what I'm saying. These people are charming. They're funny. We're over at Katie. She's getting ready on FaceTime with Lala. And Lala's like, who's going tonight? Katie's like, Christina Kelly's going to be my date tonight because I'm not going through what I went through when I went to Sandoval's show, you know? Smart. Like, honestly, I hope Katie was like, production, you guys better give me somebody to hang out with. I am concerned though, now thinking about it after Sandra said that, of like, after this season, like, who will be Katie's friends? Like, Christina Kelly is about to give birth. Like, I need Katie to have a crew. Like you can say whatever you want about Katie, but I like her and I want to see her. I want her. It would feel wrong to have her not on this show, but it's one of those things. I always think about Summer House casting too, of like when they have to start moving on. I don't know. It's not time to think about it right now. So Tom, they're all talking to the staff, like, we're going to do this tonight. Yeah. We go to Katie and Christina. They're arriving, and Katie's like, Christina Kelly is one of the most loyal people. She's a ride or die friend. We get a flashback to 2014 with Christina to Scheana, saying like, hey, it's you and Jax that's spreading rumors that Schwartz is cheating. Christina to Katie, there's no part of you that thinks Schwartz did it, right? And Katie's like, I don't really feel like it. I don't really feel it. So Christina has been in a lot of Vanderpump scenes through the years. And Katie says over the last year, they became close again. They traveled to Rome. We see a picture of that. They look beautiful. She goes, at our friend's wedding. I think their friend's wedding was Stassi Schroeder. And she's like, I'm really happy to be spending more time with her. Ariana in a talking head goes, I know Katie feels like she doesn't have any backups. So she's like, beep, boop, pop, Christina Crelly, you're being summoned, boop, pop, pop. But it just feels so obvious, Ariana says. I like that Ariana is also making her way, like making a point to be with her. I appreciate that. Tom is like, okay, everybody's coming in. All right. Sandoval's mom gets there and she's like, oh, this is unbelievable. And Sandoval's like, haha, thank you, mom. Thank you so much, mom. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. Sandoval in a talking head's like, my mom is a retired firefighter. She's 5'1", always had to bust ass and work hard to like get where she wanted to be. So it's really important for me to show her that I can do this, that I make things like this happen and follow through with what I've planned. At some point, you should feel my mom's hands. They're like Mickey Rourke's hands. We could unpack that for like a Mickey. They should have done a quick insert shot of her hands. What a wild line to say after like these beautiful things. Like, you should see my mom's hands. They're huge old Hulk hands. They could really do some massive damage to somebody. Like, I don't even think they belong on her body. What's going on there with those hands? They're like gargantuan. Like, it's kind of like, because it's like, I was tearing up. I was thinking of my mom. And I was like, I want my mom to be proud. But Sandoval is good at those things. He makes things like that happen. Everything's getting passed around. James couldn't be there because I see you next Tuesday. Lala, we get a cutaway. Lala couldn't be there because she's on rest. And they show Lala in sweats with a blanket on the sofa with her brand new sweater. And she's watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 2 on the TV, blowing her nose. Listen, Lala's been sick a bunch. I get not wanting to go out to these events and stuff, but it's the same thing I feel with Summer House. Like, Paige is not in this next week's episode. I got to watch it yesterday, and it's like, you got to show up. You got it. We need everybody just in case. You might not even be in a scene, but just in case, we need a bench. We need a strong bench of people that we can pull from. So they're talking about James getting kicked out again of the venue. And then Katie is telling Christina about having a word exchange with Scheana. And she says, Tom and I, it's been very amicable, and with all of our friends, like, don't pick sides. And I feel like Scheana has picked a side. Christina's like, well, a nice smooth divorce and setting your own boundaries. And she's coming in for some reason and trying to make it messy. And Katie's like, yep. And Christina's like, but why? And Ariana's like, well, taking Scheana out of the equation, do you feel like the situation that you and Schwartz have going on, do you feel like it's sustainable? So she's talking like, it's a smart question of like the nice relationship you have. Can you sustain that? And Katie goes, I told him, if we want to maintain this, we have to check in and communicate with each other about what we're comfortable with. Otherwise, you know what? If you want to start fucking this person, I'll run train through your restaurants. And Ariana's laughing, and the producer in a talking head goes, what does run train mean? And Katie goes, running train means having sex with everyone in a place. The whole kit and caboodle, consider them all banged. I mean, congratulations to everybody that works over at Schwartz and Sandy's. You potentially are going to have sex with Katie Maloney. That is a Katie Maloney promise. Anyways, this whole Katie then says, you know what? I want to have a trip. I want to have a divorce party. Now, this is a Real Housewives kind of thing of like, let's do a trip. And I'm going to tell you guys about right now. And Ariana's like, okay. I like when people are excited. Okay, let's do a girls trip. They're going to go to Vegas and then Lake Havasu, get a house, chill out. And, Katie goes, you, Lala, you to Ariana and Raquel. She's single now, not Scheana. Sorry. And Ariana goes, it's not my trip. I'm not going to say who can go. And Katie goes, if she wants to support Schwartz, and she can stay here and support him, but I'm ready. Also, I love after this week, Raquel was still invited on this trip. Like, Katie's really trying. Or could it be that Katie is keeping the enemy close? A random guy goes to Sandoval. The staff here is fine as fuck. I'm ready to get pregnant up in this bitch. Sir, let's make that happen. Anyways, everybody's loving the food. People are saying it looks like old Hollywood. They need a little bit more research and development on the menu, Tom tells somebody, but the drinks are good. Tom pulls Katie. They're talking and he's like, Katie, I was thinking I'm a little jealous because I'm living vicariously through Tom because he has his whole family here, but like, you're kind of my only family here in LA, you know? They sit in the booth. I hung out with Scheana a little earlier and she was a little upset. Like, I'll be honest about the way things went down the other night. And Katie's like, she was upset? There's a person that has come in between us meddling in our stuff. She's not meddling. Tom, stop it. Stop it. I don't care. I don't like it. I don't like it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like you're trying to set boundaries on my imaginary boundaries that don't even exist. Like, the Raquel thing is not a thing. I know that they happen. It's like, this is the situation that would change that for me and make me feel uncomfortable. I'm not being irrational. And here's Scheana acting like a fucking moron. Like, she doesn't mean it like this. Someone comes up to the table and you see Tom's like, hey, what's up, buddy? What's up? And Katie literally brushes them away. Like, excuse me, not right now. And Tom says, sorry. Katie, you can't do that to people. We're totally in the middle of something right now, Tom. I don't care. You can't brush them away. That reflects poorly on my business. And Katie's like, okay, I'm going to go home. I won't come in here anymore. No, Katie, it's not that. Dude, you're treating me poorly again. It's always about you, isn't it? It's not about me, Tom. I think you should leave. You know, I'd actually prefer if you left. Okay, bad energy in here. Emotionally entitled bad energy. That would have been another great name for this episode. Okay, a lot of stuff here. Yeah, this was brutal to watch. Yeah, it's upsetting that Katie brushed somebody away. But this is like the trigger. They're back in that old pattern of this is why they didn't work in their relationship, because this is what it drives both of them to do. But they're also so addicted to this. They don't like, eventually what's going to happen is they're not going to be able to talk and hang out with each other, because this is the shit that will happen time and time again, because they both think they kind of have this weird ownership over, but also Katie isn't crazy. Like, Raquel does have designs for Tom. This isn't imaginary. This isn't like, there's nothing happening. There is, dude. There is. You know she would want to make out with you. You know she said that the other day. So stop saying that nothing's like, that's gaslighting. I hate that word, but it is. Tom and the talking head's like, when we were together, this happened a lot in our relationship, and I'd be forced to choose another temporary ultimatum. We're not married anymore, so not my problem anymore. I love it. Like, the ultimatums were like, Tom, please don't sleep with anybody else. You know, Kyle Chan, the designer, is like, hey, Tom, what's going on? He's like, having a bad night with Katie, my arch nemesis. That's so stupid. Don't say shit like that. I get it, but come on, man. And I mean, he said that. We've seen this time and time again. So that was a bummer. We have a scene of Lisa's son, and DJ James Kennedy boxing all of a sudden, you know? And Max punches James, knocks him flat on the ground. He's like, remember when you called me a fat fuck? And Max is like, get up. I'm going to kill you, man. Yeah. Remember that? Like, DJ James Kennedy's an asshole sometimes. We have another micro scene with Brock and Sheena's backyard. And Brock's like, hey, honey, I'm going to swap her swing out. Now for the big gold one. Dude, Brock seems like he's always putting up equipment for Summer Moon. Like, when they were on that live I did a couple of weeks ago, they were putting up another thing for, like, how much is she growing out of each of these sets? It's I feel like she might be getting too big if they have to keep replacing these time and time again. But by the way, Summer Moon is cute like, I think I sound like an old, cute as a button. She really is really cute. We cut to Ariana walking into a wine bar where Raquel is waiting for her at the table. They order a cheese and charcuterie plate, and Katie's the last to join them. They have a little girls' night. And they're like, cheers. They're talking about the girls' trip. And Raquel's like, I want to come. And Katie's like, okay, good. We go to Vegas. We should rage a little bit. And Raquel goes, we have to rage responsibly, right? And Katie's like, I'm sure you can imagine. And Raquel's like, yeah, that you're not going to even invite Scheana. And Katie's like, obviously not. And Ariana's like, as much as I would love for her to be there. And Raquel goes, because of the podcast, right? And Katie's like, well, at this point, there's been too much emphasis put on that. And that when like the people are like, well, nothing happened between Schwartz and Raquel. It's like, I know, but that's not the point. And there's an awkward silence. And Ariana's like, I don't know. And Raquel's like, well, I guess I have a confession to make. And Katie's like, what? At Sandoval's show the other night, I literally like point blank asked Schwartz if he wanted to make out. Katie's looking down at her plate and won't look up at Raquel. And I can only imagine the thought was, don't stab her with this cheese knife. Do not stab her with this cheese knife. Do not stab her with this cheese. Do not stab. Do not stab. Also, Raquel, what the fuck were you thinking? Once again, Raquel, lie to the poor girl. Or in fact, just don't say it, dick. What are you doing? What? Like, I almost felt the worst for Ariana, who's sitting right there going, oh shit. Cause you just, I mean, like, I did not expect this at all. Now, Katie's like, why would you do that? And Raquel makes like a face, she's like, I don't know. And Raquel and talking to her goes, well, I know that Katie eventually will find out that I asked Schwartz to make out. So I'd rather her hear it from me before this girl's trip happens, you know? Kudos. Raquel, you're on a network where people don't usually face things head on in this way. You know, people do find out, but you know, you wouldn't ruin a good cheese board at this, you know, you just ruined a good charcuterie cheese moment. I was blown away. Now, in the end, you can't falter for the truth, but it's like, dude, Raquel, like, it feels like there is this thing that Raquel doesn't like. I understand the truth is good, but at the same time, there is this element of like, I mean, you can't help but stand in a sense, because I don't know if we've really ever seen this before, where somebody just flat out goes, I'm messy as fuck. Like, and just like, was Raquel's like, Raquel wasn't even scared that she was going to get hit in the face. Like, what would ever possess? I just, that kind of honesty is truly wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, holy shit. I truly, were you guys as like, holy shit as I was? Man. And Raquel goes, he like completely turned me down, so he's respecting your boundaries. I'm like, well, one of them is, I guess. And Katie goes, yeah, but you're not. And Raquel's like, yeah, so I'm sorry. And Ariana's like, girl, I didn't know you had it in you. And I think that's an honest thing of like, I think even Ariana was gagged a bit. Raquel shakes her head and goes, I don't know who I am these days. And Katie's like, I mean, how much of this is motivated by you or motivated by Scheana? Now, this is where it takes another weird turn, because Katie, it's like, I know you want this to be able to blame it on Scheana. I know that, because it will also relieve the intensity of this situation. But girl, this was Raquel. This was Raquel. This was Raquel. You know, maybe the initial idea, but like, that's Scheana. And Raquel's like, well, Scheana put the initial idea in my head, which Scheana went on my podcast and said, that's not true. And Katie's like, well, right. Okay. I thought so. I fucking knew it. That's why she's dead to me. And I feel like this is misplaced. The person that you should be kind of upset with right there, because Katie, you told her that you weren't cool with this last episode, and here she is doing it. So even if Scheana had put that initial idea, you had told her in the interim that it's not cool. So she still did it. So it's not, it's Raquel, you know. Katie and they're talking to her goes, Raquel is not smart enough to come up with something this diabolical on her own. She's literally the human equivalent of cotton candy, which is great and also kind of true. And also Raquel, I think, liked that. She said on Watch What Happens Live. But it's not diabolical to Raquel. Like, I know what you're saying. Like, this is like a huge plan that Scheana came up with. Kristen Doute hands. But no, I think Raquel is just like, I want to make out with somebody. I want to make out with Schwartz. I don't think there's this huge thought process going on in there. And I know that's hard, because a lot of us do have these like intense thought processes about how we get in and out of these things. And Raquel was like, I definitely was drinking. And Katie's like, okay. And I shoot, what is it? You shoot your shot? Like, Raquel, stop, girl. Please shut up. Please. I'll give you any, shut up. Katie Ariana goes, it's too much. It's too much. My house is about to be sold in 3 weeks, and it fucking sucks. And that's been a lot. And So yeah, I just want to have fun now. That line broke my heart. It's too much. It's too much. It's like there are just emotions where it's like it's all too much. All of this, it's all too much to throw filming on it. And that just was like, oh, that just gutted me. Did you guys feel that too? It just gutted me. And Ariana's like, yeah, let's have fun. Let's have fun. And she's kind of, she tears up a little. Let's have fun. And he's like, thank you for telling me, to Raquel. Even Katie probably was like, why the fuck did you tell me? It's a new, beautiful sunny day. Sandoval and Tom are going into Tom delivering a big old box from Schwartz and Sandy. Also, what do you like? I know that Schwartz and Sandy are like kind of mascots at Tom, but I really am curious the deal. I know they each put like 50,000 each. They put a lot of money into this, but I wonder what their return is. And I don't know, like that is, and especially now that Schwartz and Sandy's is opening up, I do want to know like when they go over to Tom, because it is in different areas, not insane, but it is still a hike. It's like 25 minutes probably in traffic at least to get there at that, from Tom to Schwartz and Sandy's. So I'm curious what the agreement is. And I'm curious if Lisa had them put that in writing too, because part of the charisma of Tom is that you would potentially bump into Tom and they would gladly take a picture with you. Those guys are great at that. Both of those guys, so great at that. So Sandoval's like, it's been a minute. Yeah, Tom. And Tom's like, what's up, guys? Did you dig Schwartz and Sandy's the other night? And everyone's like, it's amazing. Oh my God. Sandoval's like, okay, you busy tonight? How many covers do we got? Covers is the reservations. And Logan, our buddy Logan, says 120. And Sandoval's like, 120. Yeah. Logan has been on this podcast before, is Ariana's best friend. And he's from St. Louis, like Sandoval. I knew Logan even before I knew Ariana and Tom. And a really, really good guy and a great waiter. Everybody loves that dude and has a fine looking mustache. I texted him today. I said, you're doing amazing mustache work this season, you guys. Really solid mustache work. I said, it's almost as good as Sandoval's mustache. He's pulling it off. Lisa arrives and she's like, hi, do you guys want to have a talk? And they're like, yeah, let's do this. And Lisa's like, let's go back into the Rose Garden. And Tom's like, I love it back here. Magic hour. Every hour with you is magic hour, Lisa. I think so. Yeah. Well, my favorite thing is to sit out on Santa Monica Boulevard at sunset and just like piss, looking at car. He's like at sunset and just like have a drink and people watch. I have to tell you, like I haven't done that in a long time, but that used to be when like this is before the pandemic. That was my favorite thing. Was just when things were normal. Or coming out of that divorce was like when I finally got my own place, was being able to sit by myself outside a bar and just kind of watch the world happen. There is something weirdly romantic and sad about that. And Lisa goes, and see your name in lights because of Tom. And he's like, yeah, that doesn't hurt either, Lisa. Logan arrives to take drink orders. And Lisa, of course, is like, Vanderpump Chardonnay on sale at Bevmo, everybody. Yes. And Lisa's like, so the party is what? 2 weeks ago now. Big success. Schwartz and Sandy's. And Sandoval's like, it was amazing, Lisa. And Tom's like, I'm feeling real confident, to be honest. Why haven't you opened? Yeah, okay. It's complicated. Don't say it's complicated, Schwartz. But I'm going to explain why it's complicated. Okay, cool. Freaking frack over here. And Tom's like, you go first. And Sandoval's like, Lisa's like, well, what's happening with Greg? And Tom's like, we love Greg. You love Greg? Yeah. You do not love Greg, silly boy. Let's be honest. And Sandoval laughs. Oh, no. He seems a little peeved. We get a flashback at the Daily Mail party where Lisa, by the way, Lisa egging this conversation on, where Greg's like, I understood that it would be somewhat of a learning curve for them, but I really didn't realize how much. They know nothing about the business. These are two stupid motherfuckers. I would like he's always, I wouldn't trust them with shit. And Tom's like, we misled Greg a little bit about, I think you did, about our level of experience. Why doesn't he want to open now? Because he doesn't think we can. He doesn't think we're ready for it. Who's paying the rent? And they're like, we are. So you're all paying the rent and he owns the lease. Is that right? And they're like, yeah, he put all the money into it. Yeah. Well, you should have come to me. You should have shown me the deal, and I would have told you not to sign it. Lisa and I talking heads like, I'm sure Greg wants to open the restaurant, but where's the urgency if the Toms are paying the rent? And Lisa's like, that's not okay. And Tom's like, we thought we'd be able to open in 4 months, and now it's been a year. Lisa and I talking heads like, I think Greg's an experienced restaurateur, but maybe the boys have more pressure on them with all the money they put into this place. They've got to open the doors as quickly as possible. Otherwise, they're going to be in trouble. And Lisa tells them, you don't realize how high the stakes are here. And Sandoval's like, we know, like, I can't sleep at night. I literally pace around in my yard. I will stare into space because I'm so stressed. And Lisa's like, what have you got to lose? Your mother's invested in this. Yes. Getting their money back is more important to me than getting my money back. I'm a cautionary tale in my marriage. I don't want to be, and this is when he starts, I don't want to be a cautionary tale, Schwartz and Sandy's. My name is Schwartz and I dicked around and I ruined our marriage with Katie. Schwartz and Sandoval is my final time to say I'm all right, but I can't stop lying about who I'm hooking up and I can't make it right. This is the ballad of Tom Schwartz. I'm an shucks kind of guy. I got cute floppy hair and my sunglasses make you die. But sometimes when I'm alone at night and I'm pissing over my balcony, I get scared that I'm gonna die alone without Katie. It came through me. It just comes through me. It's like I'm just a conduit. He's like, I don't want to be a cautionary tale in business. And Sandoval's like, dude, don't. And so I was like, I'm a statistic. Oh my God, I'm a fucking he can't say he's like statistic. He's a fucking statistic. And Lisa's like, no, you're not yet. Listen, I've got nothing against Greg. He's only been nice to me. Okay, but maybe just the whole thing doesn't work together. So let's go forward and maybe think of a way that Greg isn't involved. Next time on Vanderpump Rules, Girls in Vegas. Woo! Raquel looks at this like pinata that's supposed to be Schwartz. And Raquel's like, what is this? And Lala's like, it's a Schwartz pinata. You turned on? And Raquel goes, I'm not turned on. And then there's a scene of Raquel fucking the pinata. No. Raquel at the pinata. Raquel's like, can I make out with you, pinata Schwartz? Can I make out with you? Tom and Sandoval in a meeting with Lisa and Ken at Schwartz and Sandy's. Well, Ken's like, if you get desperate and you need to buy him out or whatever, the money's there. Lisa's like, if you're really, really totally fucked, that's an option. Then we have James's mom back on the scene going, do you think that's wise that you're drinking again? Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing all right. I want to have Cabernet with a gorgeous brunette on a veranda. And James's mom was like, you really got to proceed with caution. It's a dangerous game. Then we have Vegas. Raquel is like, what's your name again? And Garcelle's son from Beverly Hills. He's like, Oliver. And Lala's like, you met Garcelle before. Beauvais. And Raquel's like, yeah. This is her son. And Raquel's like, oh. And Lala's like, I've had a crush on Oliver for a long time. Then Lala and I talking, and goes, I really don't give two fucks who Raquel's making out with. But let's be real. If this were a competition, I would have won for Oliver. Which I think Lala hooked up with somebody in Vegas as well, if I'm not mistaken. Raquel and Oliver are seen in profile deep kissing in the dark. And also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Oliver was with his girl that was like, this dude's been cheating on me a lot. I don't know. We'll find out. But that is the episode. Wow, you guys. Wow. And also that Ken Lisa thing, I know that is so sweet. And also, like, they obviously set Greg up, and he is. I feel like this dude's an asshole. So this is a natural storyline. But I do wonder, I'm curious to hear this, because I hope Ken's not like, we'll buy you out of Tom Tom and then you can have the money for this. Because I want them to keep their stake in Tom Tom, you know? Does that would you guys want that too? I would want that just as a cushion, if you will. So I don't know, but I don't like that Greg guy. I don't like that. And I don't like Lisa for bad mouthing them as well. And also, like, I know there's a lot of stuff going into a bar. We may have like inflated what we do, but like Sandoval is a bar dude. Like, I don't know. I like, how bad could they really be? And I know a lot of you guys said, oh, they're pretty bad, but I just, that's the part where I can't necessarily go there. Anyways, we did it. what a supersized episode. I had to. I know that I should try to keep these short, but that's just not who I am internally. But you guys, we did it. We made it through another week. Thank you for supporting So Bad It's Good. Thank you in all its highs and all its lows. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the people that work with me. Thank you. This is so crazy what we do. And it's crazy that we love what we love, but be proud of what we love, that we love this and all that stuff. Also, I haven't said this in a minute, but it's Friday, the weekend. Go hang out with the people you love, drink something good, eat something great, go out and touch grass, or just lay in bed all weekend, watch something good, read something great, listen to great music, tell somebody you love them. Don't be angry, just try to recharge, and we're going to do it all over again on Monday. I'll probably do something on the Patreon this weekend. So if you're of that, you need more, it's over there. And that's it, you guys. Have the best flipping weekend of your lives, and I'll see you bright and early on Monday. We got a great week of shows next week as well. Okay, bye guys.